Hey, just gonna come out here and chat a little bit. Maybe say a few things, on some topics. Maybe some of it's a repeat, but I really ain't gonna be looking for nothing. Me and my wife, either one of us. I get to where I just get like the don't cares anymore. Like I've said, the other night happened and I had some things going on that were out of me and my wife's control, and to some of the people that uh, that wonders, well, can I or my wife get along with people? And I say it depends on you guys, but I I get on here and I've been doing that Spotify, that music thing, and you can actually do it for free. You don't have to join to be a premium member. You can listen to all the music you want. The only thing you can't do is talk to people in chat. Which why would you want to when people are being so rude and nasty and hateful and you know I don't know. I mean, like I said, I know I offend some people. My wife offends people at times, you know, but we're old school. You know, we were born in the '80s. And everybody's like, "Wow, that don't sound like a long time ago." Well, it might not to some people, but we were still being taught and raised to be a certain way. And for all the hell I give my parents and people in my life, even if me and my wife never gets what we hope to get one day, if we never get it, one thing I will say is me and my wife's going to go down at least knowing that we taught people some things, you know, such as I called her the crack whore person that we had up here, you know, uh, I leave knowing that I tried to do my best, and my wife tried to do her best. We've just had, like I say, we've had a rough luck with some stuff, and you know, can you forgive and forget? Of course. I mean, I don't think it's possible for me and my wife sometimes, but I mean, I'm not saying I can't forgive and can't forget. Well, it's hard for me to forget, but I can forgive somebody. Let's put it that way. Forgetting is almost impossible unless you got amnesia or some form of memory loss condition or something. But I can't forget the big things. That just it's your bad. It's just your luck. I mean, if like I said, me and my wife don't know what to do, don't know what to say to people. We don't know what why things happen the way they do. Uh, it's hard to explain. Uh, But we're not looking, like I said, we're not looking for any chats on here. We're not trying to get anybody to type or talk. I've give up. Me and my wife's give up. But I mean, I feel sometimes just come out here, maybe put some things out. You know, we've had a pretty good week other than what we had happen to us a few days ago. Like I said, I didn't want to call them out here, but I didn't want to get in that breaker box and possibly get something screwed up. It was late, not terribly late, but it gets darker early now. But I'm not saying I'm a bad person, and I don't want anybody to misunderstand that. And I'm not saying that somebody couldn't be reasonable and be watching this and say, hey, can I chime in? Can I do this? I'm just saying for my safety and my wife's safety, I don't want anything to get misunderstood. That's why a lot of us don't. That's why me and her a lot of times don't want to chat. Uh, it's just been done wrong and played by some people. Even old Dylan, kind of did a little bit there, and there's still some things there I wish didn't happen. But people sometimes they don't realize what they're doing, and I wouldn't give anybody I would have gotten to know the pleasure of getting to know. I would not do wrong. I would not give them some half-ass cheap site. I wouldn't give them a cheap car. I wouldn't do nothing like that. If it come from me, I'd make sure it worked. If it was a movie, somebody, if it was a computer, a phone. I don't mistreat my stuff. I don't suggest things that I know don't work. If I myself don't know they work, I can't in good conscience do that to anybody else. And some bonehead might say, "Why, Derek, you say you don't know anybody." Well, that's because y'all won't sit down there long enough for me to get to know you. You're worried about your phones, your kids, your jobs, all this other stuff. So, you're cutting out time, on your own behalf. Y'all are in control of this. I've give up trying to look for jobs. My wife has too. And, every time a lady gets in front of us now, we almost have to know we can't say nothing. I mean, it's getting to that point nowadays. And you'll see people get on here and they'll say, "Oh, I want to chat. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that." Yeah. Well, of course you do. But why do you think we don't get on here that much? I mean, that's why, because y'all don't want to do anything. I mean, well, we got a lot of time, and like I said, we got a lot to offer a simple-minded person that ain't into drama and ain't into the things that would cause somebody a heartache and headaches and everything else. It's a tough pill to swallow, but I've told my wife many times, I've had people, she told me last night, she had two or three youngins started talking to her a little bit, but she didn't, I don't know how old they was, but she said that, they just quickly walked away from her. Well, like I said, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to say in the right circumstances I couldn't do something, but I don't try to. Me and my wife, either one, doesn't try to make anybody do anything. Sometimes I've kind of come out and I wanted something so bad. Me and my wife do, and so we tried to promote our channel, tried to promote our stuff. Like I said, we got a Spotify account now. We mostly listen to music on there and look some stuff up. We don't usually get on here much. If I get on here at all, it's to put Jim Cornette on, maybe do a game or two or update one or two of the lessons. I just don't feel the need to comfort nobody on here any longer, because it's the type of people that me and my wife just don't want to look at, don't want to fool with. And if the person that was out here really knew how we were mistreated, I'm not saying we've had the worst, by no means. I'm just saying if somebody simple came out and said, "Hey, I understand today's technology somewhat, but I can understand where they come from. And they're not trying to say they wouldn't give something a try, but they're saying, basically that if I don't need it, then they don't need it. We do the best we can do. Uh, I just, for me and my wife, there's been a lot of misunderstandings with some of the people that's been put in our life. Unfortunately, as much as I don't like to say this, I just, I get to wear them like Stone Cold Steve Austin's t-shirts. I can't trust anybody anymore. And I know that people might look down upon people very easily. At least these days, it seems more likely that that's probably the case. But if you're in a similar situation like me and my wife, I'm not telling you don't go out there and get a job, but I'm telling you to watch your back. If you go out there and get to be friends with somebody, if you try to do anything with your next door neighbor, if you try to even ask for $1 or two, like I did the other day to try to help with me and my wife's clothes when we didn't have a dryer, I get this crazy stuff saying, "Oh, I ain't got that." Oh my, come on. I mean, me and my wife don't, because we don't, like I said, we don't get usually anything but on a certain day of the week. And usually we put that toward our phone bill or what have you. But, that's from our payee, but I don't want to tell anybody. I mean, like I said, we're not the only two out here that's struggling. I know there's a lot of them. And somebody said, "Well, what if somebody come your way? How are you gonna?" Well, if you ever heard the saying, "Where there's a will, there's a way." So I know if it was a kind-hearted lady, somebody who was actually interested and invested in this offer, and it came from, I don't say it's very often, but if it came from the good Lord above, and it was just a shining light that you could see, not just somebody, trying to fake you out, not somebody trying to fake a smile for 5 minutes and put their own little spin on things and then try to, I'd like to see somebody appreciate this simple offer. I'd like to see me and my wife be able to try to get something out of whatever we got left. I'd like to be able to go out there and still do the things somewhat like I used to as a kid. I'd like to do that with some lady that me and my wife could get along with. I'd like to do it. I'd like to have the music in common. I'd like to have quite a few things in common, as a matter of fact, with me and my wife's bestie, if it came to be true. I like a lot of things. Like I said, the things I've seen that me and my wife seems to get, they either don't like a lot of things we're into or just kind of act like they like portions of it, but then they really don't think that highly of it. So, just thought I'd kind of come out and just talk a little bit. Like I said, I'm not trying to demean anybody on here, not trying to lash out, but you know where we're at. You know our videos. If you can take how we look at things, if you're somebody out there and you just happen to run across it, I don't care what your picture is. I don't care what it looks like. as far as what you put out on here. But if you really honestly want to reach us, get a hold of us, you know what to do. You can go in our playlist. I'm not giving out our numbers again on here. It's in those videos. We put it in several videos. So I'm sure if y'all, if there's one person or something interested, or like I said, if it was a female with another female couple like thing, or just some besties or something, and just somebody we could make feel good, it could make us, feel good and see a reason to get up every day. I mean, we do the best we can, but it's miserable sitting here like this and not really being able to have anything fun. I know some of the people on here probably say, "Well, Derek, I get to go here, I get to go there." Well, good for you. Like I said, y'all are probably the same people that voted for fucking Donald Trump too. A bunch of quacks that believe the voting system is necessary, and you believe that your vote counts, and you're all the same people that watch the news every day, that gets all your feelings hurt. You get your damn ass hurt all the time. Every time somebody even says the slightest thing to you. I'm glad that I didn't grow up in this era, because this era sucks, and I'm seeing it really take shape, and it's gonna take somebody special, somebody with that you just ain't gonna find anywhere else, somebody with a nice, warm, good heart. I'm tired of getting rides from people. I'm tired of my wife just getting these little things here and there. I'd like to see something actually happen. Something good for once. Something that ain't just one of these one and done deals. Something that just ain't like he's Dylan here. Just fucking gets out here and plays people with, stupid shit that don't know what he's talking about. Putting on, this crazy crap of, he don't know. He knows a lot of people. If there's people out there, if he even the slightest out there, and it helped kind of just put our channel out there and said, hey, I got this person that, man, they're handicapped. If he just put you out there, just even the slightest. I don't care if he was in Ohio, if he lived in Ohio, it doesn't matter. I mean, we helped out somebody that was in fucking North Carolina. I'm not saying that's closer, but I'm saying, I'm not a big geography buff, but we've been through a lot. I think if anybody cared about you in the slightest, I'd think they would have done this. And I'd thank them. Me and my wife would thank them. I don't cry a whole lot, but it's, if a person really got to know you inside and out and quit making excuses. It's not like I said, it's not like I'm asking for everybody to go plaster this all over the stores or nothing. But I said, hey, if feller knew of a few nice, good people, which I'm sure him and some of these others just come out here and just kind of played the game. I mean, if I could, I'd help somebody. I'd give them a shirt off my back. I'd give them food that we had in the house. But I can't. I realize right now I can't be nice to anybody. And somebody might say, "What if I asked you to do this?" If it was reasonable, if it wasn't cards, if Dylan, for example, if this Dylan came out and said, "Hey, I need a couple of bucks," or I need some spare change. If I had it, I'd give it to him. If it was food or clothes, Anybody. I'm not just talking about, one certain person, but it goes to show. A lot of people don't have it in them to understand why we choose to be the way we are and why we got put in this position. Like I said, it would take a long time to get everything all put in a video and for everybody to understand. I don't believe they got that much time to sit there and watch the whole video. And I could run hours. Easy. But it's simple. In short, you get dealt the cards you're dealt you don't really want a lot of times. And sometimes they'll be there for you when you're 10 years old, 9 years old, or younger. And as soon as you get that point of getting out and everything, well, Derek, you had your opportunity, Derek, I know I did. But it's the same with everybody else. There is somebody out there just like me, just like my wife. These people like Dylan and these other people that think this is fun and games and thinks this is a joke. It ain't a joke to me and my wife. It's not a joke to anybody going through this. There could be people out there somewhere, out in this world, that could be living in a shack somewhere, could be homeless, and they wouldn't find you a bit funny at all. Sitting there thinking that, done thing that somebody's willing to do is give you something that takes codes or money or even if it is something that ain't a registration thing, if something like what he handed out, it's cheap. It's not a website that I would go on. I checked things out, and it wasn't anything in the United States. It's people from Hong Kong. It's people from every other country. You never get nobody from, you won't get nobody to come out this far. I mean, he talks like Ohio's the furthest thing from, to him maybe, but try Hong Kong, try China, try some of them other countries, try Canada. Like I said, I can't help we're hundreds and hundreds of miles away, but that's why I don't come out here much. My wife would get upset, and she just every time I've offered her to talk, she's so disgusted with people. Quite frankly, I am too, because it's going to take somebody that just ain't like most of these people out here. It's going to take somebody with a heart of gold, and somebody that's just as good on the outside as they would be on the inside. Or, as good as they are on the outside, just be as good as they are there as they are, You know what I'm getting at. Because like I said, the inside's what really, in most cases, in almost all cases, is what really matters. Because like I said, I want the outside to be pretty attractive too. Like my wife does, She don't just want somebody overweight drastically and somebody that you couldn't do all your fun things with or whatnot. We want somebody to be able to, and I'm not saying I'm like I was at one time, but I ain't over the top, I do have physical elements myself, but it's not something I can't just, it's not something I can hide. You're going to notice it when I'm walking, but it'd just be nice if somebody could, see one of these videos and say, man, I might not like everything they like. I might not even like, some of their food, but I can sit there and I can be able to compromise. I can do the one thing that nobody else has done and be real and be, It's one thing for somebody to come up to me and my wife and say hey and hello and talk with you for a few minutes and then walk off, and all they want to talk about is their fucking wives or kids, and then they're done. Or it's like I told my wife, I said it's a curse when she takes one of her dolls out, because that's something they want to pay attention to. And it's sad because there's so much more that she could get out of being, I mean, I don't mind her taking one of the dolls out. It's just, she now knows it. Tonight she went down there. Now that she went to the courthouse, she was telling me that the courthouse was supposed to have some kind of candy thing tonight. But she may have went over here to church. I don't know what she did, but she left pretty early to be going over to church. That she sat there for another hour before we got there. I don't know where she went to, but she, like I said, she's just like me. She don't. It's not because we don't understand that there's things that's changed. TVs have changed, phones have changed, but like I said, it's all for the most part. Most things are for the worst. When you're talking about cell phones, little old flip phones with text and talk is all you need. You don't need the internet. You don't need them down, those down apps, I like the Spotify thing that I got on my computer, but the music. But that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm trying to reach out. I don't care if you're black, white, whatever color you are, mixed. Me and my wife wouldn't care. Like I said, we've given out our numbers before on videos, and we've had sometimes my wife's had these hateful people calling and saying we should get off here. Nobody can't tell us what the hell to do. Just like I can't tell anybody I don't know what they're doing. I can't, and like I said, if you're in my space and you were sitting here, I damn sure would give you the right act. If I think you need it, that's what I'm gonna get you. And if you come off to me as somebody that needs to be, and like I said, you start interrupting me and back talking me, that's where all the problems start. Everybody wants me to just me and my wife to be like a side dish thing and understand why these fucking people are on drugs, alcohol, cigarettes. I out there got 2 or 3 kids. Why they want to sit there and play tickle tank with them all the time and have their ex up their ass, try and be friends with them. You don't have to be friends with them. Like I said, you could take and do the things you need to do for the kids' sake. You don't have to be friends with them. It's not about being friends. And somebody might say, well, you don't need them. Like I said, if you got rid of him for whatever reason you got rid of him, move on. It's not that me and my wife, like I said, it's not that me and my wife aren't happy together. It's just, there's a portion of us. It feels like there's a piece of our heart missing. And we thought of this idea. And we've still got the stuff over here. We still got it here at the house. She didn't take any of this stuff out tonight. That's sitting here at the house. But it's not that hard for somebody to look at this video or any of the other videos. Yes, I say what's on my mind. Yes, my wife says what's on her mind. If y'all can't handle that, then you ain't going to be able to handle us when we're being nice. I hardly ever get to be nice. My wife is the same way, except when she knows I'm here and she's here in front of me. We could sit here and be talking about politics, news, Donald Trump. We could talk about Joe Biden, anybody. We could talk about any subject, and it won't bother either one of us. You know why? Because we could sit there and honestly look at it and be honest. Not just tell, lies about stuff. Actually go by what you see and what you hear. Most people want to cover shit up, which is their problem. But they won't sit there and they won't talk about politics or some other subject like religion, like it's the only thing you're supposed to do during your daily walk or your daily life. If I worried about that shit all the time, I'd drive myself batty. I'd want somebody to put me out of my misery. If that's the only thing that anybody could think of to spend their time worried about something they can't control, something they cannot fix. It's all a metaphor. It's fad. It's a fake sort of thing. Like I said, I'm going to say it's all fake, but it's mostly just something to sit there and waste your time when you could be doing other things to better the world instead of looking up to fictitious God. And then somebody said, well, earlier you said, yeah, I'm just saying, I have prayed out loud before and things have happened. I'm not, like I said, I'm just saying, I'm not going to sit there and toot a horn or be made to just be at church 90-something% of the time. I'm not going to be at home always on my knees. I'm not going to be praying for 10,000 hours. I'm not going to be, that's just, to me, if that's on, that's what most of the problem is. You can't separate, reality from this all this fake news and all this other stuff that's out there. You fill your heads up with all this other stuff, and what happens to you one of these days. And a lot of these people, I've seen them on TV, and these people say, well, at one time I smoked these cigarettes, and now I wished I hadn't because I have to have an oxygen tube on me. Well, it's the same thing with all y'all that thinks the only thing that y'all can find to do is have fucking kids and all this other stuff. I ain't got nothing against kids, but they're hard to deal with. They're loud, they're obnoxious, most of them. Probably these days anyway. And for the most part, the parents come off as especially the last one we had up here, comes off as some, well, I can't tell them this, you can't tell them that. Well, if they're in our house, we can. We certainly can. We don't have to give them birth. We don't have to do any of that. But if there's somebody in our house, they're going to have to listen. If you don't have kids, that's the best thing for you to do. It's not have them. If I came to an agreement, now, like right now, we don't have any kids of our own. If my wife was cool with it, and I know that the other person was like, okay, if it worked out, and that's what was in the cards, I'd make sure I raised up those kids to be like me. And yes, they'd get a whooping. They'd get a timeout, and I'd make sure that they listen. I'm not going to be like a lot of these people are today, not listening. When I speak, I'm heard. I might not get very many supporters, but, I believe in the old-fashioned ways of teaching things on most levels. I didn't say all of it. But, it is what it is. And y'all just going to have to face the facts. The old ways of doing things are the ways to go. It's not that hard to see what needs to be done with people. I mean, like I said, there is a lot of people, I'm sure, out in this world. If I went up and down every road out here, I'm sure there's somebody that would need something. They just probably like us. They probably don't get out enough. Probably not able. Like me and my wife's not. But you got people always coming up to you, saying how we're supposed to just let them run over us, and how are they supposed to. I wish it's like these days that we were used to, when you could go up to somebody and actually carry on a pretty decent conversation without somebody getting their butt hurt. Like the other night, we sat over here and this freaking woman, like I talked about, she came out here and made sure that my wife knew that she's, my wife was saying, "Oh, see there, Derek." I'm like, "Yeah, what? What's the deal?" Well, she's going on about how pretty she was on the outside. I said, "Yeah, but she's probably not that way on the inside." And like I said, you can't help what you look like. One thing I ain't going to do is tell somebody they're ugly. One thing I ain't going to do is be rude to people, no matter how the people that treat me. If you want to be treated with respect, then okay. Now, if you come out at me or my wife like you have, like a lot of these people have, and yeah, there's a lot more of you guys to go around, just like there is some of us still left to go around. Y'all will turn yourselves around. It's just going to take a lot more time to do. I'm not going to say everybody, but some people might learn a few things. Might want to go look some of this stuff up and see how TVs were, see how telephones were, see how. I remember back when there was Red Food Store and Food Line and some of them things, payphones. Not that I'm saying we need payphones, but you might ought to go look. I mean, it's available out here on YouTube. It's available out here you can go on Wikipedia and see how things are. If you just never thought of it, never cared to check some of these things out, look at cars, look at how electricity first came out, there might be avenues you might learn to appreciate things more. And you might learn to appreciate people a lot more. And I dare say that's what we need to be concerned with, instead of talking about racial stuff, worrying about what color somebody is on the outside or what they look like. I mean, yeah, there's some that's not going to appeal to some people, but I'm saying the one that you choose to be with or the people that you choose to be around, if you're around them, you might as well support them. You're the one that entered into it, so support them. Don't be mean to them and then, take one little thing out of whack. And like this other person did the other night, like I said, she's already married and had kids anyway. So it wasn't like, remember, my wife was looking for anything, but for the 2 or 3 minutes that she was in this apartment, I expected her to be able to be talked to. I never said one thing out of line, like I said. My wife was just asking her about her job thing. She hadn't heard anything in over a week or almost 2 weeks or whatever it was. And she didn't like what I said about the Girl Scouts playing my wife. She right away tried to dismiss that. I said, well, I know because we've been there. Something about like that. I said, I ain't got no reason to tell fibs. I ain't got no reason to lie about it. I've always believed, unless, of course, like I said, most people will do this. Almost just about anybody would lie in front of a cop. They would lie in front of they'd try to get out of a ticket if they were out there. They'd try to get out of anything. It's just what you do. I mean, that's just about anybody. I mean, I'll be truthful till it comes time, just like most people. Almost anybody would be able to vouch for that. Except for somebody that's not done it or hasn't been through it, but they've been a time or two. Usually there comes a time or two in your life you have to say, man, do I really want to tell the truth here and risk getting in trouble, or maybe can I tell a little white lie and hope for the best, and maybe it'll save me from getting in trouble. Yeah, I don't care if it's the smallest thing, on the medium sized level or the big level. I mean, for the most severe. I mean, there's been people. I mean, all you got to do is watch TV. Watch Steve Wilkos. There's people that's on there has lied about hurting kids and done and murdering people and everything. I mean, everybody, whether they want to admit to it or not, they judge everybody on everything. And like I said, I can sit here and say, man, my wife's a saint. But nobody could sit here and honestly say that they've never said one bad thing about somebody. They can't say they hadn't done one thing wrong. They can't sit there and make stuff up. I mean, so I'm just saying there have been times where fella will, and most likely everybody just about faces something. And if you ain't today, tomorrow might be your day. But almost anybody, just about, I'm gonna say, has done that. Like I said, I'd be willing to say everybody at one point. I'll just go ahead and say it that way. Everybody at one point or another, your time comes to face your ultimate test or your fear or whatever it might be. But no, this just ain't about me or my wife. This is just, I feel like the only thing I can do now, since I can't trust anybody, hardly, and I can't, so far as of yet, can't give my heart, and my wife's heart to anybody and have them trust us and build a bond without somebody getting their ass hurt over something small. I mean, I just, like I said, I'd jump out there in a heartbeat and take something in, and I'd be willing to do it. And my wife would, and it's just got to be what's right for me and my wife. And I talk at home when I'm not on here. Me and her talk at home. We discuss things. We talk about things. And yeah, there's a lot of people that we're probably never going to see. There's 99.9% of people I've never met in my life. I've probably met less than 50 people in my lifetime. And I dare say that anybody says, well, that can't be true. Well, fuck, I mean, I'm not counting just your everyday people, seeing these people in the store. I'm talking about family members. I'm talking about the few times I've had a girl in front of me or my wife, either one. Or the time that we've had a married couple in front of us, which has been, it will never happen again as far as man and woman couples. But, I'm not, that's what I'm saying. There's probably 50 or less people in my lifetime. But shoulder blade up there tightens up after a while. But I'm going to get off here now. I went about an hour, almost 45 minutes. So, give or take, I might go about 50 more seconds to make it 45. But I just kind of want to come out here and tell people a few things. And, even if I don't know you, I know I'm trying to help somebody. Maybe somebody will come out here and say, hey, you open my eyes up. I realize that everything I've heard on TV about a lot of things is a fad. It's all a big lie. they try to control us like we're puppets, but we're not, and we need to be able to make our own decisions. But anyway, I'm hoping this helps some people. Like I said, I'm going to try to get off here. All right. Bye.